Hi, everyone.
Yeah,
Well,
welcome. We'll be starting shortly. We just want to make sure that everybody gets settled in. So we should start in about a minute. Thank you for being present today. Much appreciated.
mhm.
Well, I think we can
We
go
can
ahead
start.
with and go ahead with the
Yeah.
introductions and start our presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Welcome and thank you, everyone, to joining our webinar today intituled AI Chatbots and Municipal Services. My name is Benoit Wallet. You can call me Ben. I'm the Business Development Director for Canadian Municipalities at Gestisoft. So we appreciate very much your participation today and look forward to an engaging and insightful session together. Okay, so just a few seconds to allow me to briefly introduce you to Gestisoft. Maybe slide one. Yep. Ew. Okay, briefly, we are a leading Canadian company with over 28 years of experience in the industry, so we're not the newcomers in it. And we have already successfully completed over 900 large-scale projects and rely on the expertise of over 100 specialized professionals. And Gestisoft is also recognized by prestigious certification. So you can see just this slide for you. For the next one. And I said I will be brief, so I'm brief. We are
Yeah.
okay. We are 100% Microsoft maniacs. We have a lot of expertise in Microsoft world. At Microsoft and Microsoft, people are always coming first. And we are offering solutions ranging from advanced CRM systems such as our Civio 311 platform designed for citizen requests, up to comprehensive ERP implementation and cutting-edge AI solutions. So it's all delivered with remarkable determination, experience, and tenacity. So I'll turn it over my colleague, Christian Dominacos, who will present you the webinar. Chris,
Yeah.
floor is yours.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone once again to be with us today. So the presentation today will be to share you our experience that we have with the first AI agent that we implemented in the city of Laval, which I'll explain a little bit later on. And we'll go over all the possibilities that you could have with Copilot Studio in building an AI that would allow you to have a conversational agent set up at different channels. So this is all things I'm going to show you today. And please feel free to ask any questions. We have also with us Kuldeep that manages the QA section. So if you ever have a question, if you'd like to interact with me, just simply raise your hands and we'll give you access to your mic so you can ask your question. So hopefully today's presentation will give you a good hint on what are the potential of an AI agent, that how it could serve you and your citizens in having a better citizen experience with their cities. So let's move ahead here. So currently, why are cities adopting AI? First and foremost, to improve citizens' access to information 24/7. So there's no restriction based on do we have a 311 agents available currently. So this is one of the main sources of why we are being called to create those agents for different cities. It's also a good way to relieve the pressure on your city staff. So for right now, we are well aware that the population is growing and sometimes certain cities are facing with larger populations from one year to another. So this is a great tool to have an agent that's able to answer basic questions or even a bit more complicated questions that would relieve the pressure on your agents to answer citizen requests, of course. So supporting multi-channel digital service. So of course, an agent can be activated on your website. It can be part of a messenger. So if your city have a lot of citizen requests that comes through their Facebook pages, the agent can be activated within Messenger and different channels I will be able to show you during the demo. It, of course, increases operational efficiency. So, of course, less case created, less citizen requests that you have to manage. It gives you a better efficiency in putting your focus on what really matters and what's more important to have really the agent attention, besides asking questions such as when are the library opening hours. So basic questions that can be easily answered will be a good way to improve your operational efficiency, enhancing service consistencies and accuracy. So, of course, as you know, well, as I will be explaining it later on, the agent, if you compare, if you daily use ChatGPT or the Copilot that you have access with Windows, this one is sitting on the whole internet, but having a design agent will be sitting on your knowledge base articles or on your website where there's the real data that will answer the citizen questions. So it allows you to have a really good form of control and make sure that the answers to your citizen requests are really focused and aligned with the city's procedures and knowledge articles. Enabling data-driven decision-making. So basically, the agent is not only there to answer questions, it's also a way for you to get data. So to know what are the most frequently asked questions to the agent. Maybe it's a good, you'll be able to have that data available for you to see maybe we need to improve our knowledge articles. Maybe there's things that we need to focus on more. So it's going to be data driven. So it can help you to put focus on certain items that would need to be optimized. Scaling service delivery amid budget constraints. So like I mentioned early on, of course, there's a lot of cities are growing, but sometimes budgets doesn't always follow the evolution of the city growth. So it's a good way for you to have a helpful agent to help you focus on harder cases that requires more human being interaction than having to answer basic questions such as what day garbage picked up during the week or stuff like that could be easily answered from a Copilot agent. So let's jump into the demonstration. So today we wanted to show you the agent that we created in the city of Laval. We will be able to show it to you, but unfortunately right now it's only in the current phase, it's only available in French. It's going to be available in English in a future phase, but right now, so I'm going to give you a demonstration of this agent, but based on the Copilot Studio interface. It's going to give you also a good idea of how this functions. So Copilot Studio, what it's really a place where you design the agent, where you give basically stories and topics that they need to answer correctly. Compared to later on, I'll compare what is the difference between a Copilot Studio agent and an M365 Copilot agent. That I'm pretty sure that right now, most of you already are aware that of its existence, but I'll be able to do that comparison. So you'll be able to compare what's the benefit of having an agent built through Copilot Studio compared to an M365 Copilot agent that you can design and create easily. So I have an example of my city agent. So what you're seeing here is the logics of how the agent's going to pick up the information and answer to the questions. And on this side, it would be the agent on how it would be set up and the experience of the agent of how it would be embedded in a different channels. So like I mentioned, the different channels that we can put it, the agent, you can put it on a web app, and a native app, a Facebook. So like I mentioned earlier on, so if you'd like to have the agent to interact with messages that you get from Messenger, from your Facebook web page, well, we could embed it in Messenger. It can be embedded also in WhatsApp, Slack, and all the different other channels that you see here. So what's the benefit of me showing you this is if those connectors would not exist, it would be a more important investment for you to build those connectors, but Microsoft already built those connectors, which simplifies very much the implementation of that agent in those different channels. So it could be also managed through Twilio, which is an SMS service. So if you have a lot of discussion that are done through SMS, well, it's a possibility that it could be there. It can also be embedded in Teams. So if you need, for example, we could have an agent for citizens, but we could have also an agent for our 311 agents, so they can ask different questions concerning procedure that they need to inform the citizen on how to proceed for certain situations, such as if they have a broken recycling bin or anything like that. So the 311 agent would be able to interact with that agent that would be embedded in Microsoft Teams. And we have also the possibility of embedding agents in your SharePoint. So of course, you can see a lot of different use cases. Sometimes we could have an agent that would help you find certain information or certain documents that are based in your SharePoint. So what I'm currently showing you, it's all the different channels for which the agent could be embedded to give you the experience of usage. When it's embedded in a website, well, I'm sure you came across often in those little widgets that you see on the bottom right part here. So the citizen would simply need to click here and ask their question to the agent. So those are all things that I will be able to show you. And for example, so we have our agent here. I can ask him different prompts, such as, for example, which, I'm going to go here. Can ask him, for example, okay, let's go back to overview here. So which roads are currently closed? So the question is what it's the trigger, and the trigger, what is built here is that we give the information on the way that we want the agent to structure the information. So which roads are currently closed? It gives me the answer. It gives me also a visual aid. So it gives us images that's been generated for the explanation. So this is all things that could be set up. And the way where the agent picks up the information, we really can direct our agent to pick up the information, the specific knowledge base. So it could be like in this case, we use the city of Redmond to do the use case for today, but it could be, for example, if your website is already very well set up with knowledge articles, it could be already set up through your website. Or maybe you have all the information set up in a SharePoint. Well, you could deep dive in the SharePoint and make sure that the information you get is only really the information that are precise to your city. So it doesn't go and pick up the information that is from a different city to give you an answer. Other cases I want to share, another example like we can ask is, for example, I'm not a satisfied citizen because I had issues with the city services. Well, I can ask that to the agent. And a Copilot agent will be able to suggest a form that needs to be filled out by the citizen. So this is not something that we cannot do with our regular M365 agent. So the agents that comes out that we have on our Windows is not something that we can design. This is very specific to Copilot Studio. So we can trigger based on a question or a request that's been asked by the citizen. We can ask him to fill out a specific form so that we can treat the complaint. And once those questions are answered, the next step would be, for example, like Gestisoft, we have our 311 Civio application that manages requests from citizens. Well, this information would be automatically filled out in the CRM or in a different database, say if you have a ServiceNow or any different application that you might be using for your case management or your citizen request. So the information that will be gathered here is connected to that database. So it could, like I said, could be a CRM, could be a SharePoint site, so that the case and the citizen request is created so that your 311 agents can treat that complaint and see exactly what are the information that was gathered and what type of action needs to be taken to resolve the issue. So those are all things that you can do with Copilot Studio and how it works. So if we get a trigger word, we can inform the agent that when you come across the word complaint, make sure to send this adaptive card to the citizen so we can fill out the form and that we can have complaint in our database. Okay. And it can also always answer to more basic questions, such as, for example, what is the date of the summer camp subscription? So it's going to give you the answer and always going to give you the source of where you can get the information. Which brings me to another point that's very important when we use AI. Always make sure that you get a reference on their answer, because if an agent generates an answer and there's no references, well, you can consider that maybe he created or hallucinated an answer. So it's always important in designing the agent to make sure that he always gives you a reference point on where he based his answer at. So the citizen can then click on the link and see exactly the information that's aligned with the question. Okay? So this is very important for you to understand, because sometimes we can have something to the AI, it generates us an answer, but there's no reference. You might consider that the agent may be invented or hallucinated an answer. And of course, a good partner will always make sure that the situation doesn't present itself, so that you can rely 100% on the accuracy of the answers that are provided to your citizens. Okay? So this is another use case. So I can give you another example. So how do I get?
Yes.
Yeah.
Christian.
Yeah.
Christian.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have a question here by
Yeah.
Marcel. So he's asking, so if you use your website as a knowledge base, how deep does the agent look into your website? Like, does it read all PDF save on there, or do those need to be added as data sources?
Okay, does it read the PDF cell on that, or do those needs to be added as a data source? Great questions. It can. This is all thing that can be configured with Copilot Studio. So, for example, we can inform him that once he deep dives in the database, we can inform him that if there's a link to the PDF, well, the answer to the question will generate an answer like this, and it's going to direct the citizen to the proper web page. And if there's a link to a specific PDF, it's going to be able to link the information. But can it read the PDF itself? That's a good question. I'll need to get back to you on that point. I just want to make 100% sure that I'm not giving you bad information. So, Kuldeep, could you please take Mr. Leblanc's information so we can get back to him and answer him properly to his answer? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Which brings me to another point. We do have a dedicated team of Copilot. So we're not just generalists. We have really a specialized team in AI constructions in Copilot Studio that are 100% focused on that. So that we'll be able to give them that question to make sure that we can answer you back correctly. Thank you for your question, Mr. Leblanc. So is there any other question? No. Okay, thus far we're good. Okay. So this is for on the agent side. Like I mentioned, there's topics. Topics is an extra layer that we have with Copilot Studio that we can really direct the agent to answer a specific way, depending on the type of question or request that came from the citizen. For example, like the example I gave you of the complaint concerning services. It generated a topic, and the topic generated that form that the citizen needs to fill out. Okay. So which brings me to the next step. So those, like I mentioned, you can also design. Like I mentioned, you can have evaluation of your agent. So you notice here there's thumbs up, thumbs down. So this is a way that it can. That a citizen can give it their satisfaction level on the answers. And this is the way that we can monitor the satisfaction level of our citizens based on the answer they receive, so that we can take action afterwards to adapt the knowledge article to better answer the question, or maybe we need to put in more details so that the citizens are more satisfied with the type of answers that were generated by the AI. So this is how we can have interaction and data gathering on the performance of our agent in answering questions to our citizens. Okay. And of course, there's an analytics here so that you can monitor those. Well, I'm just gonna not now. Right now it's empty, but we can see here the satisfaction level of those answers. We can monitor the number of times that the agent were in action and had to answer citizen requests. So there's really built-in tools so that you can really have that data in handy to have to take a better decision or make me adapt the quality of our knowledge articles that it's linked to the specific question. Okay. So those are the points I wanted to show you concerning the construction of the agents. Let's go back to the presentation here. Next slide. So like I mentioned, I'm sure maybe if I'm just curious if you could raise your hand. How many of you are currently using Microsoft 365 Copilot, which is basically, if I'm going to show you this this page here. Okay. We have quite a few. Oh, but okay. I got 6, 7. Okay, so that's good. Okay. Excellent. Good to know. So yeah. So this is M365. So a lot of you were raised their hands saying that you're already starting to use it. And I'm pretty sure you start to see how you can create your own agents. So that type of agent is what we call a generative AI agent. So it's really straightforward. I ask him a question and he gives me an answer. It's really the basic template of Copilot. So you cannot add forms, for example, when a certain specific question is asked. You cannot create a flow. So you cannot, for example, with that the M365 Copilot agent, you cannot redirect a person to a real agent, so, which is something that Copilot Studio can do. So for example, if a citizen uses your conversational agent and there's no answers and the citizen wants to speak to a human being, to a 311 agent, there's a way with Copilot Studio that it can transfer the question to the agent, the AI agent, to your 311 agent. So this is something that can be done with Copilot Studio. So to make sure that the citizen doesn't get too frustrated, and if the citizen is asking for that during the closing hours, so during when there's no 311 agent, it's going to simply create a citizen request, a case or an incident in your database so that the next day a 311 agent can call back the citizen and answer their questions or give them help on their issue. Okay. So this is what we call the generative agent. So their purpose is more for employee productivity, use cases for drafting, summarizing, searching. Data source is Microsoft Graph, so emails, documents. It can be activated through Outlook, Word, Team, Excel, and the controls are really AI guided. Compared to Copilot Studio Agent, which is a public-facing citizen services, so it's really more versatile, answering civic question, automating city services. So what it means is basically, if, for example, if a question is it needs to be answered to the road work team, well, the citizen question can be directed to the proper department in the city. So this is things that the Copilot Studio agent can do, which the M365 Copilot agent cannot do. It's sitting on different databases, so it can be on Dataverse, it can use APIs, it can be linked to Power Automate so that you can create flows and to external data. It can be embedded in website portals, teams, like I mentioned. And it's fully customizable and governed. So that means you can really, more like a chatbot in the old days that we had to build a tree of answered questions. We can add this type of layer so that when a certain specific type of question is asked, that we want the agent to act differently than what it can do on its basic form. Okay, so this is like the distinction. I know that Microsoft uses Copilot a lot and as a buzzword or keyword. So there's really a distinction to have here between the M365 Copilot agent, which comes with your Office 365 license, and a Copilot Studio agent, which comes with a different type of licensing format. Okay. So this is, well, let's move forward to the next slide. Okay, responsibility and governance. What's is very important for you to know as a city is that the agent represents the city. So we are accountable for the answers that it gives to your citizens. So it's very important to have a good governance over your knowledge base. So you need to make sure there's a way for you and for the agent to decipher what knowledge article is live, is actual, and which ones are archived, which ones are for internal use or for public use. So all of this is very important when you set up your knowledge base, that this are really informative to your agent so that it gives the proper information to your citizen. So carefully curated content is really an important point. So for example, if you have old articles of the summer camp subscription from 2024, and we're in 2025. So it's really important to maintain your knowledge-based articles up to date. Intent modeling with subject matter experts. So really make sure that there's a way that those articles that can be made public are always validated by your SME, so your subject matter experts. An ongoing update and monitoring plan. So make sure that there's a way for you to put an end date to an article. For example, a perfect example, summer camp subscription from one year to another. It's rarely the same date that the subscriptions could start. So it's really important for you to make sure that you can archive the old articles and make sure that the updated ones are the ones that are live and available for your citizens. And really important things to know when I mentioned that your AI represents the city. We have a real case, use case that happened with Air Canada with a chatbot incident. The chatbot gave inaccurate compensation information to a customer that had a delay on their flight, and Air Canada tried to defend themselves, saying, well, you didn't speak to a human being, but you spoke to our agent, to an AI chatbot. But the court really gave the responsibility to Air Canada to compensate the customer because the AI agent is considered representing Air Canada. So in the case that you would use a conversational agent for your citizen, well, you are really responsible. The AI, the answer it gives to your citizen is really, it really needs to be reliable because we are responsible for its answers. So if ever you're curious of seeing the article, there's I put in the link. I can put in the link also. If you like to get more details concerning that use case, I'm going to put in the conversation so that you may read it and use it as an example of a use case that we need to be careful. And that's why it's important for you to choose the right partner to create that. Even if you have an IT department, well, make sure to have someone to help you out in setting up the first phase of your agent, so that you make sure that you don't get you're not stuck like Air Canada and being sued for wrong information that was given to a citizen. So that's something I wanted to share to you about this. Do we have any questions concerning governance? No? Okay. Excellent. So let's move forward to the next slide. Okay, so like I mentioned early on, about 2 months ago, the city of Laval, which is as of 2024, 460,000 citizens, It's currently the third largest city in the province of Quebec, after Montreal and Quebec City. They've been the agent's been live for about 2 months, so we don't have a lot of data. I would have loved to share you. So this is really what was given to us as information from the city of Laval. They noticed a high citizen usage. So as soon as the agent was live, they did have a lot of traffic, a lot of interactions between the citizens and the agents. The city, so like I mentioned, you notice there's a thumbs up, thumbs down option when you receive an answer from the agent. So they notice a really high satisfaction rate and high response accuracy. So indicating that the chatbot addresses citizen inquiries and support efficient case management. The system allowed also to give them useful data to adapt certain knowledge articles that were maybe not appreciated from the citizen that needed more accuracy. So those they were able to act quickly to adapt and adjust those knowledge articles. And chatbots enables retroactive analysis of this citizen request. So they get to know what are the most recurrent questions that's been asked from the citizens to the agents, and they were able to do, to provide a more enhance the way that they proceed concerning the way that the chatbot answers. So it's an ongoing process. Of course, the first time that we pull out the agent, the accuracy is always linked to how accurate the knowledge articles are for your city. So it's really a good way, a good time also for you if you're considering putting in a conversational agent in your portal, in your citizen portal. Well, to maybe start looking at those knowledge articles and make sure that they're up to date. So creating the agent is one part, but the part that has usually the most work is really the knowledge-based side of things that can be pretty heavy on the workload for cities. If ever you're curious of exploring the agent that we created for the city of Laval and you have a bit of comprehension in French, well, you can use it. I put in the link here. Yeah.
Chris, yeah, we have a question. Someone raised their hand.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Can we open up this mic? Yeah. Let's unmute our friend here.
Yes. Spencer, you can unmute yourself if you want to ask the question.
Okay. Or maybe you can write your question. Okay. Fortunately. Let's try. I cannot enable this mic. I can only disable the mic of Spencer.
Yes, same.
Okay, so.
Okay.
Yes, Spencer, if you have your question, you can write it down. We'll answer it. But if you want, we enable your mic, so you'll be able to speak as well. Don't hesitate to ask your question. Yeah, I think, Christian, you can go forward.
Yeah, okay, very well. Okay, we'll move forward and we'll get back to you, Spencer, with your question, so that we can help you with that. Let me just jump back in here. So this was really my presentation for today on the AI agents that you can embed in your citizen portal or in your in different different channels like Explain. So Benoit, I think you had something to add concerning this presentation of today.
Yes, thank you very much, Chris. A nice presentation. So sincerely, thank you for attending this presentation. One thing very important to know, I think, that is Gestisoft is pleased to offer you a free AI Copilot workshop. has been designed for to go through these kind of process. This workshop is free. This is a 45-minute workshop, is free, and I'm putting the registration link in the
Conversation.
chat. Yes, right away. So you have the link to register. It's free. It's and you have just to select a moment to meet our specialists and have this workshop. And feel free also to contact me for anything like to discuss and talk about your projects, and I'll be pleased to meet you. So that's all for now. If there's any other questions,
Yeah, and just to add, concerning the workshop, you can see it as an envisioning type of workshop. So kind of a situation where you can ask, is this doable? Is that not doable? So it's really to give you an introduction on possibilities and get to understand how we can proceed in building up an agent with your city.
thank you, Chris.
So yeah, on that, so I hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you do have any questions that were not answered, feel free to reach out to us. You're going to receive an email afterwards so that you can have details on this presentation. And this presentation will be made available on YouTube, on our YouTube channel in the upcoming days, so that if you want to share that webinar to anyone within your city, you'll be able to do so. So thank you so much for your time, and I'm going to wish you a very nice day.
Thank you so much, Christian.